Hi everyone, happy Tuesday. How are you all doing? We are officially out of the state of alarm over here in Spain, so that means that we can pretty much do whatever we want. I guess we can go visit other provinces, we can go outside within the EU. So yeah, it's like what everyone's been saying, right? It's the new normal. So yeah, there have been like some changes in my house as well. For those of you who didn't read my post yesterday, this is the last week where I'll be doing 2 Facebook Lives. So starting next week, I'll only be going live every Tuesday. Just because now that we're going out of the house, things are changing also with work and it's just also about finding that balance in everything that I'm doing. So I'll be going live less, but that doesn't mean that I will be less present and less here for all of you. So just keep sending me your questions, keep sharing me any questions, any doubts, or whatever. I am still here for you 100%. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about a topic that I've actually had on my list of things to talk about since March. And I finally decided to talk about it today because over the weekend we had kind of like a standoff. There was a standoff between my husband and my daughter over who would tidy up what, right? And so I figured, this is something that most parents are probably going through. And even though we are allowed out of our house, we still do spend time at home. And so I decided to share with you what's been working for us. So before I get into that, I want to ask everyone who's watching, what do you hate seeing on the floor? Like when you see it, that's like what makes like your blood boil, right? In my case, I hate seeing books on the floor. I can't stand it. It just really annoys me when I see books on the floor because I love books, I love reading, and when I see them on the floor, it makes me feel like she doesn't value books, she doesn't value reading, and yeah. So that's what I hate. I'd love to hear about what you hate. Again, the question is, what do you hate seeing on the floor? Okay, put it down below, and yeah, just share whatever you want. And for those of you who are watching for the very first time, hello, hi, I'm Denise. I am a mom of 2 living in Madrid, and I am also a parenting coach. So I help other parents just make parenting easier and just enjoy parenting more. So on to the topic for today. How do we encourage our kids tidying up, right? And so there are several specific tools that I use, like communication skills that I use when it comes to this. The very first one, you might not be surprised if you've been following me for a while. The very first tool that I use is problem-solving conversation, right? So basically it is where you sit down, you and your child, and you first talk about your child's feelings and needs, you talk about your feelings and needs, and together you come up with solutions. So that's the very first skill that I suggest you use. And it doesn't have to be that you use when there's already a problem. If this is something that's been like happening all the time, then you could obviously use this, but you can also use it as a prevention, right? So one of the things that I teach my clients when we talk about this whole tidying up is how can you set up the environment so that it's easier for everyone to like handle the mess or to tidy up the mess. And one of the things that we do in our family is we do toy rotation. So not everything is out. So even though they have played with all the toys, while we're working, it's not like we can be there telling them every time they change activity to put back what they've done before. So when they have played with all the toys, even though everything is on the floor, it's still manageable, right? Because again, we only let out like a certain number of toys at a time. So what you can do with a problem-solving conversation is do something like that. Like, okay, I've decided that we're only gonna have this amount of toys out. which toys do you want to keep, which toys do you want to stay outside. So that's one of the things that you can do, right? It's have a problem-solving conversation and prevention, like set up the environment in such a way that it would be easier for everyone involved to tidy up the things after. Another skill that I use is describe, right? When we enter the room and we say, oh my goodness, look at this mess, they don't know what we mean. They don't know they might not know what a mess for us is. For them might not be a mess. So when we say those things, they don't understand what it is that we're stressed about, right? So it would be to describe what you see exactly, like the books on the floor, let me look at what do I normally see. Yeah, normally it's just everything's just on the floor. So it would be to say all the things that are on the floor. And also be specific. Be specific about what you see and be really specific about what you want them to do. Because when you ask them to tidy up, it's such like a big thing that sometimes they might feel like overwhelmed, or again, they don't understand what it is exactly that you want. So it would be like the other day there, we had like these tiny scraps of paper on the floor because my daughter now loves cutting. So I like got the paper bag that we use to throw paper and I put it beside it, and I was like, all the paper belongs inside. And so it was very specific for her, so she was able to really understand what it was that she had to do. And so yeah, kind of related to that is stating your expectation. It's like and it goes hand in hand with expressing empathy. So the example that I can give you of what just happened over the weekend was how my daughter had the books on the floor along with other things, and she said that she didn't want to tidy them up herself. And so normally we actually do help her, but at this moment I wasn't feeling well, so I was lying on the couch and I was like, I had like a really bad headache and I just couldn't help her. And my husband was tidying up dinner, so he couldn't help her either, and so she got into this whole thing that she didn't want to do it by herself and that whole thing. And so from the couch I was actually able to tell her, just like, yeah, I know you don't like doing things by yourself, you don't like doing this by yourself, you feel like it's too much for you to do, you like it when we help you, just kind of like showing her that I understood what she was going through, right? And then after that, that's when I kind of like explained to her, it might not seem like it because, no. Then we did the family, like we have like the things that we do in our family, right? And so one of the things that we do in our family is we help each other out. Thus, if she asks for help, we help her. And so we told her, like, yeah, in our family, we help each other out. And right now, you tidying up by yourself is helping everyone out. Because Papa cleaning up dinner is him helping the family, right? And right now I can't help because I'm not feeling well. And so that kind of like helped her realize also, that was like one way that I stated the expectation, right? In our family, we help each other out, and right now you need to help us. We need your help, and this is how you can help us. And that's kind of like what flipped the switch for her in that sense, and then it all kind of just like became a game where she gave me her watch, and then she was like, okay, what time is it? Meaning, and I just had to be like, oh, it's time to pick up that book. Oh, it's now time to pick up this book. Now it's time to pick up she had something like a stuffed toy. Now it's time to pick up the stuffed toy. And then she'd be like, no, it's time to pick up the other book. And so it became a game, and then finally it was time to brush her teeth. So yes, again, the idea here was I did like a 2-for-1 thing where I expressed empathy and I also stated our expectation. And so these are some of the tools that I use when tidying up. I actually, along with these tools, I also offer my clients 2 mindset shifts, which I shared in my blog post. I'll just put that in the video description. So if you want to do like a quick review of what I just said, as well as learn about the 2 mindset shifts that I offer to my clients. You can read that all in the blog post. And now, if you're wondering about that phrase that we say about what we do in our family, in our family, we help each other out. This is actually one of the things that my husband and I have talked about what are our family values and what our long-term goals are, and what are the types of things that we want to teach our children. And for us, that was something that came up. And so if you're wondering what would be your family goals, what would be your long-term values, what are the things that you want to teach your children, and also how, because sometimes we think so much long-term and we think, okay, we don't have to worry about that now. But the thing is, what we want in the future, we have to kind of plant the seeds today, right? So if you want to know, if you want to discover what are your family values and how you can start applying them to any situation that you're currently having right now, then I highly suggest you send me a message for a free consult, and we can get you started on figuring out what it is that you want for your family. And until tomorrow, so tomorrow will be my very last check-in. Okay, will be 15 weeks. I did not think it would be so many. And I'm just going to be sharing how the last 15 weeks have been. And I hope I'll see you there. Okay, have a nice evening. Bye, everyone.